If you've ever wondered how to make those cool doodle-like whiteboard videos you keep watching, even though you should probably be doing something else, then you're in the right place. Today we're diving into the mesmerising world of whiteboard animation. Welcome to this video, I'm Tom Ainscough, and first off, let's break down what whiteboard animation actually is. Imagine drawing out your wildest stories. Instead of just telling them, you bring them to life one doodle at a time on a whiteboard. This method's a favourite for businesses, educators and YouTube creators, as it's incredibly captivating, yet simple. So why use whiteboard animation? Aside from it being a fun way to dodge real work, whiteboard animation is super effective at grabbing attention. They break down complex ideas into enjoyable, easy to understand visuals. Perfect for when you need to explain that new app to grandma, or get your point across without putting everyone to sleep. The basics of creating whiteboard animation. Getting started is easier than you think. All you need is a whiteboard, some markers, and a camera. Now, out of those free tools, unfortunately, I only have one on hand, which is the camera itself. But there are digital alternatives, which we'll jump further into shortly. So let's do a quick digital demo. Let's say we want to explain coffee making. First, we draw some coffee beans. Okay, then we add the water, mix these together, and we get our delicious cup of coffee. And there we go, a simple story about how our morning hero comes to life. Tips and tricks for better animations. Tip 1. Keep your drawing simple. No need to be the Leonardo da Vinci of whiteboards, less is usually more. Tip 2. Use emotions. Sad coffee pots and happy smartphones. This simple trick of giving life to your objects can further engage your audience. Tip 3. Pace yourself. If the drawing gets exciting or complicated, then slow it down. This will give your audience more time to digest the information without them losing track of the actual point you're trying to make. A digital alternative. Now, if you're like me and you don't own a whiteboard, then I'm pleased to tell you there's some digital alternatives you can use. In today's example, I'll be using the Viddyoze software to create some digital whiteboard animations, and it couldn't be easier. So let's jump into the Viddyoze platform and I'll show you how it's done. So here we are within the Viddyoze platform, and we'll want to filter down the wide range of templates to just the whiteboard related ones. Using the search box at the top here, I'll type in whiteboard, where we'll now see only the whiteboard related templates. Today let's recreate our coffee making video using one of Viddyoze's templates. First, I'm going to select this whiteboard single title template to create an opening title for my video. After we've selected our template, we'll be taken to the main customization screen. Using the text box here, I'm going to type in how to make coffee. Nice and easy. Now our text is in place, we can click done. In the colour section, we have the option of using the colour picker to change the background used in this template. But for today, I'll keep it a nice clean white colour. If we press done again, we'll also see that this template comes with a choice of 2 integrated scribble sound effects, so we don't need to worry about any audio mixing later on. Once we're all set, we can click the preview button here at the top to see what our customised video looks like, simply by flicking through the generated stills. If everything looks good, all we need to do is hit the render button here at the top and Viddyoze will work its magic. So whilst we wait for that to render, let's create the actual explanation part of our animation. So here we are back on the template page, and I'm going to customize this whiteboard free illustrations template to show the coffee making process. If I give that a click, we'll be taken to the customization screen, and we've got some slightly different options for this template. On the left here, we can upload up to 3 illustrations to appear in our video. For the first one, I'm going to upload an image of some coffee beans simply by selecting replace and uploading the image straight from my computer. For image 2, I've got an illustration to represent water, which I'll do the same. And finally, I'll upload an image of a nice cup of coffee into the illustration free section. We can also press the edit button to adjust the size and cropping on each of our images if we wish to do so. If everything's in place, we can press done, where we'll get the same colour and audio options we saw on the previous template. After we've adjusted everything, we can click the preview button again, where we'll see a glimpse of what our customised video looks like. If all looks good, just hit the render button once more and Viddyoze will do its thing. After our videos have finished rendering, we'll be able to download them either in a GIF or MP4 format. I'm going to be doing a little bit of extra editing on these, so I'll download them in an MP4 format. Okay, so that's the animation side of things sorted. So now let's jump into some video editing software, and I'll give you some tips and tricks on putting this sequence together. Here we are within my chosen video editor. I'm actually in DaVinci Resolve. You can get this editing software completely free, but of course you can choose whatever you want. So the first thing we'll want to do is get our actual media into the project. So as we can see, we've just got my 2 whiteboard animations I did in Viddyoze. Then I've also just got some music I'm going to add to this project, as well as a voiceover we're just going to kind of edit into it. So let's just drag all our media straight into the media pool to get started. So that's the first thing. Next, we'll want to get our visuals in place. So all I'm going to do is just select both of my animations, drag them into the timeline, and there they are. So we just play that through. There we go, nice and simple so far, but we'll do a little bit of extra editing work just to spice this video up a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of music. So as I say, I've got this music track right here. So I'll just drag this down and we can stick it on track 2 here. And the chances are, looking at the waveform, it's going to be too loud. So we just have another listen. Okay, to be honest, not too bad, but we'll probably have to adjust this once we get our voiceover in as well, as usually the music will end up drowning that voiceover out. So let's just drag our voiceover underneath as well. So if we have a listen to this. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. So as you can hear, or maybe not hear, we can hardly hear the voiceover under the music. So what we'll want to do is just select our music track. Then up in the top right here in DaVinci, we've got the volume control, so we can just give this a click. Maybe I'll try -25. That might be a good starting point, and we'll just kind of have another listen, see how that sounds. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with... Okay, not too bad, we can hear the voiceover much better now, but we have got these sound effects that might just be a little bit loud for me. So we're just going to do basically the same thing. We'll highlight these, so basically only these sound effects will be getting adjusted in terms of volume. We'll go back up and maybe we'll set these to -15, just knock those down a little bit. So if we have another listen now. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with the beans. Finally, stir it. Okay, not too bad. In terms of the audio, everything sounds relatively leveled out. Now, the next thing what we'll want to do is basically sync up our voiceover with the animation a bit better. So, for example, if we play this first part, how to make coffee. How to make coffee. First, so for me, that could come in a little bit earlier. So on my actual voiceover track, so, you know, I'll just colour these to make it a little bit easier. Let's go with pink for the voiceover. Then for the music, let's just set that orange, and that'll do for now. So I want the how to make coffee voiceover to start pretty much straight away. So let's just trim this silent bit at the beginning, and we can move this further up. So we have a listen now. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your... Okay, not too bad. So next, we've got our second part of the voiceover probably coming in a little bit too soon. So all we want to do, nice and simple, we just want to select our razor blade tool here. And we can just give that a little cut there. And if we go back to the selection tool, we can just drag this up until we need it to kind of kick in. So now I've moved that up, let's have a listen. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Okay, so that's in a much better time, but the animations happen probably a little bit quick. So what we're going to do, we're just going to create some freeze frames to slow the visuals down so it all matches up nicely with the voiceover. So what I'm going to do, as we see on this animation, we can see the hand comes in, it scribbles down the coffee beans, and it comes out to frame as well before coming back in for the next picture. So what we want to do is basically create a freeze frame just as this hand's come away. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to select the animation down here. I'm going to do a razor blade cut on that. So my shortcut for that B. So I've just done a cut to there. Then I'm just going to move along one frame now, and I'm going to do the same. So just press B again. And what we've done there, we've basically singled out this still frame with the coffee beans. So now I've got that, we want to make sure our playhead is just at the start of this frame. So rather than it being on the right side, we want it to be on the left side, which is fine. Then I'm going to press R on the keyboard, and this will bring up the retime controls. So we've actually got this option here, freeze frame. So we just click that, so tick that box, press change. This has now been converted to a complete freeze frame. So basically what that means, if we move the rest of our animation up, we can make this as long as we need, and it'll just be a still frame, you know. So basically what we want is this to last as long as we need for this part of the voiceover. So if I drag it up to about there, and we'll have a listen. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Okay, so now we're not getting that, you know, scribble, scribble, scribble by the time we've only just said our first part. So basically we can use these freeze frames to well, freeze the frame on a particular section of our whiteboard animation. And as I say, we can adjust this to how long or how short we want that to be. So we just want it all to match with the voiceover we've got in. Coffee beans to your cup. Next we've got our second part of the voiceover coming in, where our next illustration will happen. So if we line that up about there, and we don't need necessarily all this big gap in between the voiceover. So, you know, we don't need this. I mean, we could do if we wanted, but we don't need this to last on screen too long. So rather than extending this all the way up there and, you know, keeping all this dead space of audio, what I'm going to do instead is just cut the gap out on the audio. So just like that. Again, I've used the blade edit mode there. I have got keyboard shortcuts just to jump through these tools a bit quicker. But we want to remove that section there. Then we can basically just move up our animation and voiceover up here. So we'll line that up now. Let's see how that's looking. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some... So, you know, next we've got the water animation coming in. And again, the next scribble's happening too quick. So again, we'll just do our freeze frame trick. So we've got the hand coming in just there. So we can do a cut here on this frame. Then again, if we just go back, do another one, select this singular kind of frame we've cut out. Again, we want to be on the left side without our playhead. Press R for the retime controls and we'll create a freeze frame. So we've created another freeze frame where we can basically just hold this visual for as long as we need. So in this case, we can see the voiceover kind of goes up to this area. So we'll just drag that a little bit longer. So everything's timed nicely on our animation. So we'll just drag this up. Then if we have a listen now. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with the beans. Okay, not too bad. Then basically just want to repeat what we've done for the third section as well. So, you know, maybe I just want to cut this empty space of audio out on my voiceover, delete that, bring it up closer. Then, you know, we can have the rest of our animation coming in, hopefully all nicely timed up now. So maybe we just give this a full overwatch. So let's have a look. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with the beans. Finally, stir it up and you've just made yourself a nice cup of coffee. Okay, not too bad. Now, as we can see, our animation comes to an end before our voiceover does. So all we need to do there, we can just do another freeze frame to make this last however long we need to at the end. So all I'm going to do is just get that blade tool, give it another cut. Where our playhead currently is fine there, so we can do our freeze frame from this point. So I've just pressed R for the retime controls, freeze frame, change, and then we can make this as long as we need. In this case, just to the end of our video. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. Then, you know, whatever, we can kind of bring the music to a close as well. Just chop the rest of that off. Yourself a nice cup of coffee. So that's pretty much a nice little sequence we've put together there with our animations, kind of leveled out our audio against music and voiceover. Then we can always add some additional elements as well. So maybe we want a kind of plus sign in the middle up here, as well as an equal sign, just showing that coffee equation a little better. So we can do that just with simple text elements in DaVinci. That's what I'm using. So if I go to titles here, then we've just got this kind of, title called text, that's your most basic text effect. So if we drag, say, one of these up on the top, what this is, as we can see in the viewer, we've just got a basic title added to our video. So we can change this to whatever we want, you know, instead of basic title at the top here, just make sure you're on the title section. Then I'll just have a plus sign. And since we've got a white background, I'll want something to contrast against that. So I'll just change the colour to a black colour, and this should do me. Of course, we have size options. We can adjust size and font, etc. But I'm not going to delve too much into these. I'll let you kind of play around with those yourself. So we've got our plus sign there. So basically, add some hot. If we just play this through, water with the beans. Finally, stir it up and you've just made yourself a nice cup of coffee. So here's our kind of final equation we'll go with. And what we want, so if I just drag this up, we want our video to finish with our plus sign here, Then we'll also make an equal sign, to kind of create that equation. So with our plus sign, let's just reposition this. And to do that, we'll just go to settings up here, and we have the position X and Y controls here. So if I use the X, I can just move that along in between the coffee beans and water. And, we've got a nice, simple kind of, first part of our equation there. If we want the equal sign, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold Option, and I'm just going to click and drag to copy one of these text elements. So now we've got one on top of the other. If I move this, we can see our plus has appeared here. So of course we want this just to be an equal sign. So let's just position that a bit more central, something like that. Jump back into the title, and rather than a plus, let's just type equals. And there we go. We've got a nice plus coffee bean plus water equals coffee cup. Very simple, very easily done. So the last thing we want to do is just kind of adjust these text elements within the timeline so they appear appropriately as they're supposed to. So we play this through. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, So I want the plus sign to first appear around this point, when our water comes up. So all I'm going to do, I'll just bring the text kind of to this point, and we'll just create, just by dragging the little white clippy thing, whatever you want to call that, we'll just create a nice simple fade up so our plus sign doesn't just suddenly appear. So what we've got now, coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with the beans. Finally, stir it up. Then, we can just do the same with our equal sign. So wherever that wants to appear, let's say about here, then we'll just drag this, create another nice fade. And we should have quite a nice finished coffee making animation here. So if we just have a look at this from the start. How to make coffee. First, add some coffee beans to your cup. Next, add some hot water with the beans. Finally, stir it up and you've just made yourself a nice cup of coffee. Okay, then of course we just want to make sure all our elements kind of end in at the same time. So we've just made a nice, very simple but effective kind of animation there on the process of making coffee. So once you've kind of tweaked all your elements and you've got everything how you want it, if you are using DaVinci, we do have this quick export button up here, so you can give that a click. Then we've kind of got all these different presets. 9 times out of 10, the YouTube preset will usually do you. Nice and simple there. And there we have it. We've put together this simple whiteboard style animation using the Viddyoze platform, along with a hint of editing. You can try Viddyoze completely free just by following the link either in the description box or pinned comment down below. So if you don't fancy the fuss of scribbling things down on an actual whiteboard, then there's always that digital option too. Alright, that's a wrap on our guide to whiteboard animation. Thanks very much for watching, hit that like button, and as always, happy creating.